Hello, it's Tom with Digital Foundry, giving some initial impressions of how No Man's Sky compares between PS4 and PC. Of course, by now this game's bug list is widely documented. Stuttering frame rates and even crashes are a problem on a number of PC setups, and we've also experienced some stability issues ourselves on PS4, but at the very least we had hoped the PC version would offer up some enhancements to sweeten the deal. Long story short, it does have three key advantages over the PS4. The first is pretty obvious, that push from 30 frames per second to a full 60 FPS and beyond. Now, being a procedurally generated game, there aren't many areas we can match up identically, but this space station is a rare exception. We're controlling both sides with the same pad around this ship hangar section, and you can see motion is obviously much smoother on the PC side. Now, this high refresh is not a given for most setups of course, and this is running on a GTX 980 Ti using Nvidia's latest 368.81 driver and the experimental build for No Man's Sky. And yes, we do still experience a few stutters and hitches along the way in the first few minutes, even on this powerful card. But provided you do have the right GPU to get the game working at a full 60 FPS for the most part, it's a substantial upgrade over the PS4 experience. Otherwise, with all settings maxed on PC, there isn't much of a visual upgrade compared to PS4. The changes are too granular to pick out between the medium settings used on PS4 and PC at maximum, and besides slight improvements to draw distance, what you see on PC is largely the console version running at 60 FPS. Case in point, you still get an obvious fade-in effect on PC maxed out, especially while flying around. The terrain draws in just ahead of the player, much like PS4, and there's no in-game setting to hide the effect fully. Meanwhile, textures can't be compared directly of course, but in the same vein, PC still produces similarly low resolution texture maps that really don't hold up to close scrutiny. In fairness, this is part and parcel with the game's procedural approach to creating each planet, but if you go with PC, don't expect any major upgrade here over PS4. But this leads to the second improvement you do get on PC. Now, even after a full restart, texture filtering doesn't show much of a difference between 4x and 16x settings, a blurry implementation regardless of what you choose, and one that matches PS4's approach closely. The good news is that you can force the issue with your GPU's control panel, and for example, Nvidia users can override the game's settings with its own 16x anisotropic filtering, which actually gets great results. Booting up the game with this in effect, textures appear far cleaner at tight angles, a massive improvement over what we're given by default on PC and console. Curiously, the anti-aliasing settings are really limited on PC, offering just FXAA and 4x super sampling options. Regardless of which one you choose, there's no visible difference between the FXAA and SSAA in-game settings, and that falls close to what PS4 offers as well. Frustratingly, this still leaves plenty of pixel crawl around the space station. The only real way to eliminate that is by brute force of course, by running at higher resolutions on PC or even using DSR mode in Nvidia's controller panel. In our case, we pushed the 980 Ti to 4K, downsampled to 1080p in this image, and though the frame rate really doesn't hold up at this 4x resolution, pixel crawl is vastly reduced this way. One bizarre side effect of running at higher resolutions like 4K though, is lens flares are much more exaggerated compared to how they appear at regular 1080p. It's not a big issue, and we had at first thought this was a higher post-process effect setting for PC, but it instead appears to be related to your set resolution. Moving on, and we have advantage 3 for PC, the field of view setting. It's one of our bigger gripes with the PS4 release, where the console version settles at 75 on the FOV slider. It can create a claustrophobic effect for some people, but fortunately PC can be pushed up to 100 here to add to that peripheral vision. Actually, you can go even further than this by adjusting the game's ini file in the game's Steam directory. There you can go to town and bump it as high as 140 if you like, which really expands that viewing range. So those are the three main improvements in No Man's Sky for PC: frame rate, texture filtering and field of view. The last two involve some manual tweaking outside of the game to get working, but both are easy fixes and the payoff in visual quality is big. Compared to PS4, there's not too much to celebrate here otherwise. You get much the same settings in every other department or close to it. It's not the overhaul some might be hoping for on PC, but these boosts do make it more enjoyable to play and a better looking game overall. Anyway, that's all from me today. Not a conventional comparison by any means, but we hope it's a useful overview of what to expect in PC upgrades. Give us a like or subscribe if you enjoyed it, and until next time, thanks for watching.